Hey everybody, Shaun back again with another Let's Play. Remember last year when we did Resident Evil 4 as one of our first LPs? Well, now that we're coming up to the 1 year anniversary, I figured we might as well get Separate Ways done. We're doing the PS4 version. Several reasons. The GameCube version doesn't have Separate Ways, it was added in the PS2 version.
The only reason I've taken on this mission
PS4 version looks the best.
to my own objective.
I have a completed save of RE4 already.
Of course,
so
hiding in the shadows isn't my style.
Is this me blocking the mic?
For advice once in a while.
Using my headset for this rather than the mic on the stand instead. These cutscenes look terrible. Like, this isn't your YouTube quality suddenly dropping down. These cutscenes were made for the PS2 version. The PS2 version, unlike the GameCube version, all of the cutscenes were pre-rendered FMVs. And all they've done is move them up to the PS4. Like, rather than recreate all of this, I assume the source files just don't exist anymore. But rather than recreate all of it, they just ported the cutscenes over, so you've got whatever resolution this is, while the rest of the game runs at 1080p. Wasn't that cool? We'll never get to do that in game. The grapple hook is entirely contextual.
So I see you've managed to arrive at the village on time.
Also Wesker.
Yes, but nobody remembered to roll out my red carpet.
The villagers there are all being controlled. They automatically attack any intruders. Ring the church bell. That should quiet them down for a while.
Sounds like they're good, obedient boys and girls.
Unfortunately, time is not a luxury we have. Gather as much information as you can about the parasites and finish off this little tour.
So Separate Ways exists as a bonus for the PS2 version. See, that is upscaled a lot better, but also looks really bad. That's weird. Okay, so we're here in the village, we need to get to the church. Let's take a look at what we've got. That's the map. It's the touchpad button. And we have a shotgun with a handle. That's kind of neat. I like the handle. It's a nice touch. So Separate Ways exists as a bonus for the PS2 version. It wasn't done by the original team as far as I'm aware. It wasn't directed by Shinji Mikami like the main game was. And it kind of shows. See, this cutscene exists in the main game. This is the exact same cutscene. But it's still in, like, really low resolution. Okay, so Leon is supposed to be in this house now. But if we go downstairs, he won't be there. We can hear him, we'll never actually encounter him. So the idea of Separate Ways is kind of neat. The behind-the-scenes stuff, see what Ada was doing this entire time. The problem, more than anything, is the execution. It's really not that good. And it exists as a really interesting contrast to the main game, because Resident Evil 4 is fantastic. I mean, I said it when we did the Let's Play. We'll probably do Resident Evil 4 again, like the main game again at some point. Because it's a really solid game, well worth going through. And it's a lot of fun. Right, so that is time-based. I thought I'd have to get closer to it. like, separate ways just doesn't exist in the same thing. Oh my god, I never knew that happens. I have never seen that before. I didn't know you could actually see Leon in this. He's disappeared now, but that's interesting. Okay. Well, I've not played Resident Evil 4 since we did this with the GameCube, so the controls are still kind of... Let me get used to this again. Excuse me. Let's grab all the stuff around here. One problem I have with Separate Ways is you don't get any upgrades. Which means the weapons you get, the weapons you stick with. There's also the case of the economy in RE4 is really well handled. In Separate Ways, it really isn't. That's the wrong button again. They're gonna break through there, but a grenade is probably the best idea when they do. Come on. Grenades still work as well as they did in the main game. It's like, it's Resident Evil 4, it's more Resident Evil 4, and you'd think that would be good. But, yeah, we'll get to some of the problems as we go. And there is certainly the concern that without any upgrades, there really isn't much reason to deal with anybody. Like, the only time we actually did any damage there in that entire village sequence, now that it's done, the only time we did anything there was when we threw the grenade. Okay, so here's the merchant.
Welcome. Got a selection of good things on sale, stranger.
As you can see, I don't have my blue torches set up. He'll just
What are you
be
selling?
in weird places.
Is that all? What are you buying?
So I gave the TMP a bunch of crap in the main game.
Come back.
And I don't remember if I ever actually... Wow, I forgot there was a snake there. Oh, it's a golden egg, we're selling that. I don't remember if I ever actually conceded any points with
What are you
the
selling?
TMP. The TMP is not
Is that all?
awful.
What are you buying?
And we'll certainly get some use out of it in this game. The problem is, for the damage it does, it's not really worth it in the main game with everything else you can get. You'll burn through ammo really quickly. Even fully upgraded, it doesn't really do enough to justify itself. Okay, nothing there. Nothing there. Get out of the way, please. Bam. Yeah, even fully upgraded, it doesn't really justify its existence. Because, like, the money you're putting into the TMP can go to... You're gonna get it. The money you put into the TMP can go elsewhere. Get out of there. Damn it. Yeah, might as well use this. There we go. But in Ada's game, it certainly serves more of a purpose because you're very limited on what you can have. Wow, really? 2 of those already? That's just treasure. Alright. Do I really? No, I have ammo. There we go, that's how I reload. Fall over. Oh, you. Let's take him down. Yeah, the TMP generally pressing the wrong button. Generally doesn't justify its existence with how much it costs to fully upgrade. By the time you get to the end of the upgrade path, it's not doing enough damage compared to everything else. For crowd control, you're better off with the shotgun. Do I have any other grenades? No, I do not. Alright, well, guess we're doing this old school. Okay, no weapons, let's get closer. You know, I suppose we don't even have to kill Chainsaw later. Nice. Yeah, you were nowhere near there, woman. Alright, is that going to have been worth the ammo? Treasures, combine. There's 2. I have no idea where the third one is. I've only done separate ways twice before in my life. The first time was the first time I did it, because the first version of RE4 I had was the PS2 version. I was like, well, RE4 was great, let's do more RE4. Huh, you know, sure there's supposed to be someone in here. So this is the same puzzle. Do the 4. Do the 4. Do the 3. Do the 3 again. Do 3 again. 3 again. Do 4. And then do 4 again. There we go. So we get the round insignia, and then the gate shuts. And to get out, we have to place something here, so we place the green cat side that Leon finds. Kind of an interesting little idea. Which is what Separate Ways mostly is. Kind of interesting, not very well executed. And the first chapter so far, not very offensive. It's... If you're actually fighting all these guys, it's certainly offensive, because this is a lot of people and you do not have the resources to deal with everybody. As opposed to, like the village when Leon gets there, it's a case of holding out. Which is part of where the tension comes from, just survive. Oh, there's the last gem. Really haphazard placement of these things. Damn it. Sometimes I'm a great shot, sometimes I just keep missing. No, I didn't want that one to explode. Oh, I'd her to explode and she didn't. Okay, reevaluate positioning. So yeah, the big difference so far is like, the way the enemies are. Where did you come from? Like with the village, it's a case of survive, and you barely have the resources to do that. Oh, I don't jump across. Somebody died. It's you. And you. Yeah, and you barely have the resources to survive in the village sequence if you position yourself right. It's a very well executed sequence, which justifies the number of enemies. And it's tense. You know what, let's take a look at this, this will be good. Won't open, it's locked. There's somebody whimpering. Ashley's gonna be there for hours. Sorry, excuse me. I don't even need to kill these guys. The minute I do this puzzle, we're done. Come on, there we are. But the number of enemies this section is throwing at you, there's no indication that you really should run past or ignore most of them, and if you try to take them on, then you're gonna lose. Alright, so this is the same puzzle as before. The difference now is that it's upside down, which makes no difference. You solve it in the exact same way. Bada bing. And that's it, that's the first chapter. How long is Separate Ways? It gets the chapters get longer. They definitely get longer.
La campana.
It's a good thing Leon held out for, looking at the timer, probably about 14 minutes. God, can you imagine if that took 14 minutes to actually happen in the main game? Also, again, this is a cutscene from the game. You have this cutscene in full HD.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
The only difference about... Look, it's even got the Resident Evil bit. It's the same cutscene. Oh, because they added Separate Ways. That would have been so hard to do.
Here's what I know so far. Osmond Sadler's cult is known as Los Illuminados.
Is this
They've
low
resurrected
resolution?
some sort of parasitic
I can't
organism
tell
they
the
call
screen, with the
Plagas.
screen being shrunk
That's
like
on
that.
the organization
That
knows
said,
for sure.
look at the pixelation
Though
on the camera in the
Sadler's
upper
occult
right.
activities seem worthy
It's
of
awful.
investigation. The Salazar family.
Not only is this the worst part of the
possess
game,
the ability to control Las Plagas.
the porting of Separate Ways is so low effort.
The unique frequency of sonic wave, sensed only by the parasites, is used to control them. The same principle used in dog whistles. This was inferred through the analysis of a tissue sample we retrieved. The tissue contained an organ presumably used for sensing sound waves.
So this is
thought
retconning
models
explaining
carrying
how
sound
Sadler
only
controls
once,
the
and I
Plagas,
wonder if they emit
which
these sounds. Of course, this is
didn't
purely
really
theoretical.
need to be done.
The organization
How does
samples
Sadler
of the
control it?
parasite to confirm
Well,
or disprove these theories.
Resident Evil logic.
That is the main objective of my mission, and the only way to prove my loyalty to the organization. The opening moves in this chess game have been played. There's no turning back now.
And then you get everything she just said. This is everything she just said. The easier option here would have been to just provide subtitles. And considering like the Devil May Cry HD collection on PS4, they added subtitles for it that don't exist in the PS3 version or the original PS2 version. Like, why not add subtitles here? Why does every version of Resident Evil 4 exist without subtitles? Why, Capcom?